So I will be playing this game with petr7410, which is a very strong player. And let's see how this plays out. I see tick, but I won't offer it, since a little bit of randomness is involved. What do we have? Estia, Clio. Maybe Clio is stronger in that one. Clio Siren, I don't know. Clio seems also very strong. Clio Gaia, Clio seems strong once again. Gaia Siren, I don't know, Siren seems strong. So I might have to do a hero versus god combo. And that's fine because Bellerophon is kind of a god itself. It's more or less like a god, it jumps 2 levels. It's always threatening to move up from a level 1 to a level 3 directly. So who will I put him against? Maybe Siren? Maybe Gaia? I don't know if against Gaia he would be too strong. Or Clio. No, against Clio I think he would win. Or maybe not. If Clio goes for a corner attack. So I guess against Siren. This is a tricky one. I will... Who should go first? Here I'm not sure if I'm going to put Bellerophon because he might be stronger in this matchup. I will put Siren first, because I think she could be weaker and an extra move could be very valuable. So Bellerophon, a hero once your worker moves up 2 levels. So you can win by moving up from level 1 to level 3. And I can also move from a level 0 to a level 2. That can also be useful. So the tricky thing here is that if Siren forces me with the song, and I'm on a level 2, if she forces me to a level 1, she cannot build a level 3 next to that level 1. Okay. Not sure. One of the workers will be here. The other one I'm trying to decide between C1 and D3, because if I place them in D3, it might be the case that a deadly attack is created here and I'm not able to defend. I'm kind of scared of that, so I'll place a worker here if I need to defend this lower part of the board, because notice that the wind is forcing in the north direction, so I want to build in the 5th row while Siren wants to build in the 1st row. It seems an odd placement of workers, but okay, I have to make sure that I have one worker which can defend this 1st row if I need to. By having this worker here, if Siren wants to force this worker to the 4th row, let's say, she would have to make 2 moves, one with this female worker and one with the male worker, which is the D2 worker, and the female worker is in C3. So I will move over here and build here. As I said, I will try to build in the 5th row. Maybe this wasn't such a good decision, because this worker in C1 will not be able to help my other worker. And with a single worker, I don't know if I'm going to be able to create any danger. And I think I will move this C1 worker here to D1, so that this worker keeps using the Siren's workers as barriers, from preventing it from getting dragged to the 5th row. But I'm not sure if I should play it. I guess I don't see nothing wrong with this move. So here I think I'm going to go with this move c1 d1 and build a level 2 over here. Just because I am trying to prevent Siren from using this, and I still get to keep my worker here close to the first row to defend. So if Siren moves up, I can go to d3 and build a level 3 over there. Not entirely sure this was a good move, but the idea here is that the levels 3 might benefit me more than Siren. Because if there's a level 3, I move to a level 1 neighboring that level 3 and I'm threatening to win. I'm starting to dislike this move because maybe Siren can reply with d3, e3 and build in d4. I will go c4, d3, build e2. But then I'm not sure if I like a Siren worker in d4. Oh well, what can you do? Okay, but Siren doesn't play that. She goes for something different. She's starting a new attack in the left part of the board. Okay, I will go to d4 and build, let's say, over here in e5. I'm continuing to build in the 5th row. I'm ignoring this, that might be a poor choice, but I have to do something as well. I cannot defend and defend, so that's why. I'm also threatening to move up to e3 and I don't know, build in e4 probably. Here what I don't like, don't like for me, but I think this was a good move to build in b2, because Siren moves to b2, builds in a1, then she can force me, I don't know where, but and then build a level 2 in a1, and things start to become ugly. Okay, so here I will just do this, preventing Siren from moving up. And Siren now might play to b2 and build in a1. That's something I would consider. The question is if I'm going to be able to win faster in the corner. Oh, she will use her power. Okay, let's see what she will do. Perhaps build in b3? Or even a dome in e2? So I'm considering moving up to e4 and building a level 2 in e5. That seems like a very logical move. So if I move up with this worker to e4 and build in e5, I'm threatening to move to d4 and build here a level 3, which is quite annoying for Siren. But she can reply with forcing this worker, the d3 worker, to d4. I think I don't mind it. So I'm trying to focus on the 5th row. As you could see, I only wasted two builds here in e2, but it was in order to create this level 3, which might help Siren in the future. I'm not sure, because imagine a level 2 here in d2. That's something I should be concerned about. But at the same time, Siren has to worry about this corner. I'm one move away from threatening to win here in e5. She completes the dome. Okay, this, it feels like a bit passive, but because I don't think I would be able to use this e2 to my advantage, that's why. So now, I have some good choices. Some good choices. I can move up from d4 to e4 and build a level 2 over here. If Siren tries to cover the ground moving to d4, I just move e5, d5 and build in e5, and I win, without even using my power. So that move is out of question. The best she can do is wait, maybe with, I don't know. Yes, what would she play? Maybe move this worker to c4? Okay, this sounds like a good move now that I think about it again. So I build the level 2 in d5, and the good thing about this is that Siren cannot. Oh, she can. She can. Sorry about that, but she can move to d4, because if I go e5, d5, she just forces this worker. Ah, that's a shame. That's a shame. So I think I'm not going to play this, because I allow her to move to this square, which is where she wants to be to defend. Instead, I will play with this worker so that she doesn't get the d4 square. That's the whole point. I will build over here, or maybe not. No, I'm disliking these moves. I can move to e4 and build in e5. Maybe that's something, because it forces her to use her power. No, but I have to do this. Where to build is another question. Yeah, I will build over here. I guess I will force her to use her power. She pushes this worker, this one. No, I don't like this as well. No, I will build a level 2 over here, I don't care. So the problem that I have with this move is that this d4 worker cannot move up. I mean, he can, and it could be my secret weapon, that I move up directly from the ground level to the level 2 using my power. Sometimes the opponent might forget that Bellerophon can do that. Okay, so probably the reason why Siren built the dome here in e2 was that this worker now can move without having to worry about my worker moving to e3. Because if this worker moved, my worker could go to e3 and it would be threatening to win in e2. So that's probably the reason. Yep, and now Bellerophon can go on the offensive. This is a bit worrying. Because Siren knows that this worker is able to defend both threats. Should I build a level 3 here in b2? I would say that would be a waste of a move. That would just give Siren an easy threat here in b2, because she then could build twice in a2, say. But I'm finding it hard to create a threat in the corner. I'm considering d4, c4 and building d5. Siren has to move down, but then I don't see it. I guess I will just move this worker out of the way and build over here in c5. Again, a build in the 5th row. Because if I build in d5, this worker moves down, but I don't know. How would I be able to use the corner to win? I think I wouldn't be able to do it. But if I let Siren to move up to b2, I have to be sure that I will win in 2 or 3 moves, because then she can just build in a2 3 times in a row, and that's unstoppable. Because Siren moves up, I'm still able to defend these 2 squares. Siren moves up to b2, builds in b3, but I have to do something. Yeah, no, if Siren moves up, okay, Siren cannot move up, because if she moves up, I just go to d4, c4, d4, and I build in d5. And I win, because even if Siren pushes me to e5, I win just by moving up 1 level. So I didn't see that, and okay. I'm glad that I played this move. More or less. Feels like I win a turn at least. So Siren now should probably build in a2 or a3. More, I would say, or even c2, but far away from the 5th row and adjacent to this level 2. It's what I'm going to guess. And she's still deciding if she's going to push this worker. Okay, she is not going to do it. Okay, in a2, that's what I would do, yeah. So now I have to come up with something, with some plan. Okay, I have a way at least to stop Siren from winning if she builds in a2, which is I go to d4, I build in c5, and if she moves up, I will just win in c5. So if she forces me this worker, which will be in d4 to d5, and build in a2, I can just move down. Oh no, I know I can move down with this worker to d4 and build in c5, and she would have to move down with this worker. So at least it seems like I'm able to do that. I guess. I'm not quite sure. But at least, once again, Siren cannot move up to b2. And even if she builds in a2 by forcing my worker to c5, I can move down from c5 to d4 and build in c5 a level 3, so that she has to move down. But I'm not sure if I would play that, honestly. As Siren, I think that would be my move, probably. Force this worker from c4 to c5 and build in a2. Okay, and we don't have that move. Okay, instead we have a build in a3. Why not a2? I'm not entirely sure. But it feels like this should give me some time. Maybe because Siren is already anticipating my plan. If I move from d5 to e4 and build in d4, if Siren reply and build in d4, if Siren replies with e3 d4, I guess I can move c5 d5, build e5. She has to force my e4 worker to e5, build, let's say, in a2, and then I can yeah, I can. Where was I? The worker was here. She forces me, builds there. I can move d4, d5, c5, build d5. Yeah, and she has to move to e4 and block that. And then I can move from e5 to d4 and I win in the corner. Because then she cannot force me. Because there's a dome in d5. Okay, I will have to try this. I have to try this. Yeah, I think this is a poisonous square d4, so I build in d4. If she goes there and builds, I don't know, let's say c4, no, let's say c3, I move c5, d5, I build in e5. She only has one reply, which is to force this worker, this e4 worker to e5, build in a2. I then... Okay, I then move over here. No, but I guess I have to play this anyway, because otherwise my position becomes too passive. That's the problem. And with this move I'm kind of inviting Siren to d4. So I'm not sure if I have that winning continuation, because this worker can also defend d5, and that's the problem with that. Otherwise I think that would be winning. So this worker moves to d4. I didn't even consider if he forces me just over here to e5. Yeah. Which would be the most natural move. I don't know, but I can always force this worker to come down to c4 to defend. So that's what's giving me some chill. If this worker goes to d4, let me see. I have to have something here. Trying to use my workers and the wall. So if this worker goes to d4, I c5, d5, build e5. He forces me e4 to e5 and builds in a2. So a very dangerous threat. I then go from d5 to c5. If this worker, which will be in d4, defends in e4, I just move from e5 to d4 and build anywhere, and I win because I'm threatening to win in e5 and Siren cannot block that. So she will have to use this worker. But if she uses this worker to go here to c4, then it just feels like my threat was wasted. That's the problemo. So I have to consider some other move. It feels like I have a lot of good moves here, but at the same time this is a little bit worrying. So the problem I had with this build in a3 is that it allowed me to have an extra build here. So if there was a level 2 in a2, I couldn't have played this move. Of course, I would force this worker to the ground, but I think that would be better for Siren than it would be for me. So Siren uses her power, and once again she doesn't build in a2, like I would expect. Don't I have something here? I feel like I should have. So if I move e5, d4, build e5, Siren has only one reply, which is to move to e4. And then what? If I move this worker to d4, build in c5, this worker has to defend, let's say in c4. I then move e5, e4, build e5, he has to force me to e5. What the heck? If I go... Okay, I was considering something else. If I move to e5, d4, build e5, Siren goes to e4, blocks. I move to d5, c5, d5, build here. That doesn't work as well. Oi, oi, oi. I will move over here and build in c4. Because I just don't see it. But is this allowing Siren to go to c4 and defend? I don't know, probably. So I don't know if I like this as well. So Siren finally builds in a2, and now I have to come up with something, some winning continuation, or I move to b4. So let me see if I finally have something, or if I don't. I should have some tricky move. What about c5, d4, build c5, Siren has to go to c4, block that, then I can play d5, e4, build e5. Oh no, I cannot do that. I will build in b5, I think. If Siren moves up to b2, builds in a2, I move here. Yeah, I guess that's what I should have done in the previous move, but I was considering b5 as well. I don't know why I built in b4, c4. Now Siren can move up to b2, but I'm able to defend in b3. Then I have a very nasty move, which is, if Siren is in b2, I have c5, d4, and build in c5. And that is game over. So after Siren moves up to b2, she will have to play this worker to probably d4. But if this worker reaches b2 and is able to build in a1 3 times, then that's the end of it. But Siren has not moved to b2 yet, because she until now needed the two workers to defend my threats. My threats, which there is only one dome, but I have not built anymore because that would be just a waste. I have not built a level 3, I mean, because that would be a waste. So I only have one move, so I will play it quickly. And Siren moves to e4 to prevent me from playing from moving to... Okay, but I think this is over actually. Yeah, I think this is over. Yeah, because this worker moving to b2, it created this threat. Now it's in a good position to attack, but doesn't have the resources. So I think I can move from c5 to d4, build in d5. And how can Siren stop that? Either by moving up to e5, but then I just play this worker to b3, b4 and build in c5, so she has to force me to d5, build, let's say, in a1, or she can build in a3. I didn't see that. Ooh. Because if she would try to win in the corner, I would go to d4, build in d5, she would force me to d5, build a1, I would move down, build c5, she would force me up, build a1, I would move down and dome d5, and finally I would win in c5. But the problem is that she can build in a3, and who says a3 says b3. So, once again, this is not as easy as it seems. Okay, but I think I still got it with this move. I go here, if she forces me up, I move to c5, build in b5, and then I move b3, c4, and build in b5. Okay, I think this is over. So, Siren only has one move, which is to force me to... Oh boy. Will this worker go to b5 and prevent me from doing this? That would be funny. No, but at this point Siren has to force me to d5. You can already press the skip button. Because if you go to e5, I just go b3, b4, build c5. After she forces me to d5, she can also force this worker, and the question rises, where should Siren build? Where should she build? And if it is a1, that won't work, because of the variation that I said. If she builds in a3, I think I can go to... Yeah, this worker will not reach b5, so I get forced to d5, I go to c5, build in b5, I threaten to win over here, Siren has to move this worker to d4, builds the dome, and then I seal it with b3 or maybe b4 or whatever this worker is, but I can move it to c4 and build in b5. So Siren is considering whether or not to move this worker. And now, I guess here you would have to build in a3, I don't know, in a1 is too slow. Yep, but this move just wins on the spot. So you have to block this, and then I will move to c4 and build in b5. Good game. Yep, this worker not being in b3 was probably a mistake, but otherwise Siren couldn't do nothing. And I will use my power just for the sake of it. So there we have it, a very interesting matchup, at least in my opinion, and I feel like Bellerophon is stronger perhaps, but it isn't that easy.